Welcome to Module 1, Safeguarding in Sport. My name is Laura Wapham and I'm a consultant at the NSPCC Child Protection in Sport Unit. And today I'm going to be talking you through some of the safeguarding considerations for sports organisations. What we'll cover today: what is safeguarding? What organisations need to do to protect the children and young people who take part? What safeguarding policies and procedures are and how they can keep children safe in sport. What should be reported and how this can be done. Who is responsible for safeguarding within a sports organisation. And finally, what you can expect from coaches and support staff working with you in a sports setting. Taking care of yourself. If you're personally affected or concerned by any of the issues raised in this session, you may find these contact details helpful. You can get in touch with Loughborough College Safeguarding Team via the number on screen, which is 0797 973 7474. Or alternatively, you can get in touch with Childline. You can do this a number of ways. You can go online to childline.org.uk or call the number on 0800 1111. You may have heard of both of the terms safeguarding and child protection, but you may be less clear on the difference between both terms. Safeguarding is how you prevent someone from coming to harm. That may be a child, young person, an adult, but it's the preventative measures that we put in place to stop someone coming to harm. Child protection is the response when something has gone wrong or there are concerns. They are the procedures that we put in place to effectively respond to the issue. Also to note, as we talk about children throughout the presentation today, in England, a child is defined as anyone under the age of 18, and that's there in law, and that's the rules we'll be applying today when we talk about children. What organisations need to do to protect children and young people? The government states that safeguarding is everyone's responsibility and outlines that all organisations that work with children have the following duties. 1. A safeguarding policy and reporting procedures. 2. A person responsible for safeguarding. 3. A process for sharing information. That's especially important when there are concerns raised. 4. Safe processes for recruiting new staff that will be working with children and young people. And 5. A culture of listening to children and young people who will be taking part in that sport. Let's look in more detail at what safeguarding policies and procedures are. Every organisation working with children must have a safeguarding policy and procedures. A policy is a document that's detailing what organisations will do to keep participants safe. It will include a range of measures that are relevant to both athletes and coaches. It should outline how coaches behave when they're around young people and the expectations for young people as well. The procedures are the steps that will be taken by an organisation when concerns are reported. So how will those concerns be managed and how will they be escalated if that need be? Policies and procedures will also be accompanied often by guidance. So that can include things like how an organisation will manage photography, for example, or transporting children and young people, and will sometimes include separate guidance about travel or events. Press pause here and make some notes. Question 1. What might be included within a safeguarding policy? Question 2. Can you think of any other guidance documents that would be useful in addition to what has already been mentioned? What sorts of concerns should be reported? There are 4 main categories of abuse which have been outlined by the government in their legislation. The first is physical abuse, second, sexual abuse, third is emotional abuse, and then fourth is neglect. There are other types of concern, however, that are serious and that should be reported, and that includes bullying, harassment, and discrimination. It's really important that all of these types of concerns are reported, whether you've experienced them yourselves or you witness someone else experiencing those concerns. Our advice is always to report those concerns. It is also important that you report any lower level or more minor concerns. It's important to do this as this discourages worsening behaviour. We know that when things are left unreported, even if they're minor, that on occasion they can escalate into something much more serious. Concerns that are left unchallenged create an environment for more serious rule breaks and even abuse to occur. Some of the types of lower level concern that you should be aware of may be a coach liking or commenting on young athletes' social media posts. It could be a team captain enforcing a humiliating team bonding activity, or it could be a referee making a sexist comment towards an athlete. These are just some examples of lower level concerns that really should be reported. All concerns, including lower level concerns and inappropriate behaviour, should be reported, whether that's you experiencing it or you witnessing that type of behaviour. Press pause here and make some notes. Can you think of some examples of physical abuse in sport? What about emotional abuse? It's really important that every national governing body of sport or sports organisation has a clear and visible reporting process. So if you have a concern, you know how you can report that concern. The reporting processes should address concerns within the sport. So something that may be happening for a young athlete that's between the athlete and coach, or it could be concerns from away from the sport. So it could be a concern about the athlete, the young person or the athlete's experiences in school or in their home environment that may be reported within the sport. On the screen you can see a flowchart. This outlines what should happen when an athlete or young person is in immediate danger. If an athlete is in immediate danger, it's call the police on 999. If there's not immediate danger, it's a report the concerns to the safeguarding lead as soon as you possibly can. Who is responsible for safeguarding? As we've mentioned previously in the session, safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. That's young people, athletes, coaches, parents, everyone's responsibility. Every club or every sport should have a named person who is responsible for safeguarding, and their contact details should be available and publicly visible. So available on things like posters, leaflets, websites. You should know who you can contact to report that concern. What you should expect from coaches and support staff. Your coaches should listen to any concerns that you may have or those of your parents. Coaches should listen and report any concerns of abuse or poor practice to the welfare officer, and coaches should keep any coaching or safeguarding training that they're required to undertake up to date. Coaches are also responsible for maintaining appropriate boundaries and relationships with young people. They should be keeping children safe in the sessions by making sure there's appropriate supervision levels, that they're using safe methods of instruction and technique, and by putting children's safety first. Coaches should be constructive in their feedback and try and be positive when developing skills without humiliation or creating any harmful environments. And coaches should lead by example when it comes to good sportsmanship, positive behaviour and commitment to the sport. We now have a short task for you to undertake. Following this session, find your sport or national governing body's safeguarding policy, and then find the contact details for the safeguarding lead for the sport. You should be able to find this on your sport's website or their social media channels. Thank you for listening to the session today. If you require any support with safeguarding, please do not hesitate to get in touch with the Loughborough College Safeguarding team.